hello, and welcome to the Lost Archives. My name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of this ragtag group of heroes and adventurers.
Hi everybody, I'm Claire. I'm playing Mira, who's a Dragonborn Sorcerer, half red dragon, half silver dragon. Originally was a bit of a politician, and now has joined the adventuring life, probably to a greater extent than she ever expected.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael. I'm playing Lockie, a Warforged Artificer. Originally was part of a flying castle, but I've since left and resumed an adventure with my mouth friends.
Cool. Hey guys, I'm Jared, and I play the character of Jin. He is a level 6 Law Bard and a level 2 Hexblade Warlock. I'm currently an associate and ally of the Tempest Guild, and I'm helping them in their goal of stopping the Queen of Dragons, Tiamat.
Hello, I'm Ali, and I'm playing Shana, the Yuan-Ti Sorcerer, who is traveling with the Tempest Adventuring Guild, trying to find the other half of her soul, who is hiding somewhere away, far from reach.
Hi guys, I'm Matt, playing Yervith, the sneaky Wood Elf Ranger and Rogue, who, after a tragic incident in the jungle with his previous expedition, has now joined up with this lovely ragtag group of adventurers and is looking to see what happens next.
Hello! hello, and welcome back to the Lost Archives. Hello! We've got some people here. Give a wave. Yeah, cameras are up. You can wave. People can see you.
Hello, everybody.
They can hear you. Hello! We're back. Oh, we're back, and we've got Firefox has crashed, and now it's back, so that means the Roll20 camera is up again. You can see our dice, and everything's working perfectly, as it always does on the Lost Archives streams.
Every stream.
Nothing ever breaks ever.
We never, ever have problems with anything technical. Ever. Is that overselling? I'm not sure. Thank you for joining us tonight, this lovely Wednesday evening, for our Tyranny of Dragons stream. Quick shout out to the lovely people who came and joined us for our impromptu forest stream on Saturday. Some other streamers and I jumped on and we did a little playthrough of the forest. It was spooky, and I was the one who set up the server. I accidentally left the server open, and so some randoms came and joined, and one of those randoms turned out to be lovely, and they took us on a tour. Took us on a tour, showed us where to find a katana, where to find a very big axe.
What the fuck? And
took me down into a cave and didn't murder me, which I was expecting. And I fully went down following them, thinking at any moment, I'm just going to die down here. But I didn't. I survived. And they got me a katana, and it was great. So thank you so much for joining me, complete random stranger. It was fantastic.
Didn't realize there was a katana in that game, but yeah.
Neither did I, but I know where to find it. And you get it from like inside a dude's stomach. It's he's like clearly committed. Is it seppuku?
Yeah, Harikari seppuku.
Kiri seppuku. Yeah, it's intense, but that's the forest. Content warning for anyone listening. My bad. But yeah, no, that was fun. So thank you for joining us. What was that? Sorry, Ali?
He's unalived himself.
He's unalived himself. Yes.
Unalived himself.
He's unalived himself. His existence has come to an abrupt conclusion. Now, the reason we did that is we were doing a bit of a proof of concept because Michael and Claire, two of the lovely people who stream with us, who aren't here just yet, they're coming, I promise. They're very keen to do a little bit of a playthrough of the forest as well. Now, I might join them for a couple of sessions, but for the rest of it, they're going to be streaming it just the two of them. So you're going to get a Michael and Claire playthrough of the forest. You don't know. I'm trusting them with the keys to the car. Hopefully I don't find it abandoned by the side of the road out near Werribee. Not a real story. What are you talking about? It's never happened to me.
That's a very first.
Exactly. Now, the other thing we have is we have a story from the lovely community. So this one's from John Bryce. He messaged to share a story. He's actually given me two, so we're just going to do one tonight. One of them's him as a DM. We're going to save that one. I'm actually going to do one of his playing ones. So this is one of our stories from the lovely community. So John Bryce was playing a barbarian fighter multi-class. Not sure what combination it was, but great multi-class. Just slew the big bad dragon of their campaign, or so they thought. As the dragon was just alive, it took to the skies and tried to flee. At that point, he turned and looked at the party had an enlarged half-orc barbarian with them, and he said, throw me up there so I can finish what I started. Unfortunately, he got a nat 1, meaning that John Bryce's character, the barbarian fighter, went flying towards the dragon but missed, failed a dex check at advantage, meant that he didn't grab on as he flew past, and he fell thousands of feet down the side of a mountain to his death, leaving nothing but a cartoon imprint of his body in the snow below.
Wow.
That is an epic tale of misfortune. I'm sticking with unfortune. Epic tale of unfortune, unalive fortune.
He unalived himself.
He unalived himself. Yeah, that's an unalive. So thank you, John Bryce, for sending us that tale. That is a hilarious D&D. This is like classic D&D shenanigans, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
that's what we live for. So if you've got any stories from your campaigns, doesn't have to be Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Powered by the Apocalypse, Edge of the Empire, any other RPG systems I have failed to mention, of which there are many. Come on YouTube, chuck it in the comment. Doesn't matter which video, I'll see it, and let me know a story from your campaign, and I'll share it on the stream. Yeah. So thank you, John Bryce, for the story.
Thank you.
That's all my announcements. Any fun things from you guys? Ali's got a really cool background. Ali, is that background?
It is.
Did you draw this?
No, it's been completely randomly generated by multiple AIs.
Okay, then it is safe to display on stream.
Okay.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
Great. I just wanted to double check we're not going to get copyright.
It's called Wombo.
Wombo.
Yeah, make some really, really sick AI artworks and backgrounds.
It's also an AI-powered lip sync app as well, but I found the artwork one. Wombo has a few different functions, it turns out.
Yeah. Also
my God.
took up bike drawing, so if anyone has any tips for that, I need it because I know nothing.
I don't even know how to spell it, so I'm not going to be much help.
K-O-R-I-N-G.
I was mostly kidding, but still, for the purpose of the joke, you called me out well. That was good. I got mansplained and I like it. It's fun. It's a good turning of the tables. I deserve it. I'm a terrible mansplainer. I try not to be, but I just get excited about things and I want people to like share in the excitement with me, and sometimes I mansplain. So it's good to mansplain me back. I like it. And call me out if you ever catch me doing it. All right, I think we should do a bit of a recap. We know that Claire and Michael are on their way. They'll join us ASAP, but in the meantime, let's do a little bit of a recap. And this would be good because we can do a little bit of what Jin's been up to in the background, because obviously last session, Jared, you weren't with us. What a session to miss.
I was dying.
Yeah, you were dying. You look like you're feeling a bit better now, though.
I do feel a bit better. I just got a cough now and a wheeze.
A wheeze?
And antibiotics kicked in on the weekend, so...
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Gotta love antibiotics. No, so it is good to see you looking healthy again. We will jump in and do a little bit of what Jim was doing behind the scenes, but oh boy, you missed an improvised character who I think is the highlight of my DM career. I'll never create a funnier improvised character than Bacchus, unfortunately. Until the next one. Bacchus. Alrighty, I will do a recap, get us up to speed, and then we'll jump in and see what Jin was doing last session. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a group of mercenaries, explorers, and adventurers, has been working to thwart the machinations of a group known as the Order of the Dragon. This cult has been amassing power, wealth, and knowledge in an attempt to perform a ritual which would bring a dark draconic god, Tiamat, back into the world. Our story has been following the escapades of some of the members of this group, Mira, Jin, Lockie, Yervith, and Shana, who have travelled to Ciari, the Draconic Nation, to work against the cult's actions there. As their airship entered Ciarian airspace, a gold dragon came to warn the party away from Velixur, the capital city. After accidentally or intentionally revealing their association with Otaliacanos, the dragon attacked, resulting in a brief but intense fight which ended with the dragon being driven away. Deciding that flying the airship directly into the city might potentially alert the cult or other enemies to their presence, the group decided instead to head for a winery owned by a friend of Otaliacanos. Arriving at the Wyrm's Respite estate, the party were introduced to Bacchus, the owner and proprietor of the winery and brewery. Currently in the form of a giant green dragonborn, Bacchus was happy to house the airship and crew for a few days, in return for the purchase of several crates of wine and potential partnership deal cleverly negotiated by the party's business snake. Sealing the deal with a drink, the party now prepare to depart the estate and head toward Velixur, unsure of the dangers that may await them upon arrival. And that is where we left off last session. So we are back. We're going to do a very slight, tiny time skip back in time to Jin. As the airship docked up, Jin, you saw there were a number of workers who prepared to load on crates of wine and get goods off the airship before they realized that it wasn't a merchant vessel. This is just some random tourist who's docked up at our official customs dock for transporting goods. And so at that point, I kind of had you duck below deck, transform into a dragonborn form, and then come back out and sort of dress yourself up a little bit like the workers, looking like one of the dockhands. It was pretty easy to slip in amongst them as everyone boarded the elevator. A number of the dockhands had come up on the elevator to unload the ship, thinking that it was a merchant vessel. So you were pretty easily able to slip in amongst them and head back down with them. As the rest of the party headed inside this magnificent, very Spanish reminiscent villa, this massive sandstone villa with beautiful archways, intricate paintings on the outside and inside, and a central courtyard garden. You slipped away and joined in with the dock workers, sort of letting the party know under your breath that you were just going to do a bit of reconnaissance, get a bit of intel, and meet up with them later. As you spy things. As you join in with the dock workers, all of whom are Dragonborn. One of the Dragonborns who sort of turns towards you, not really recognizing you, looks a bit confused and goes, "Sorry, I don't recognize you. You've come in on the morning shift, right? Where's your buddy? We're supposed to have buddied you up."
Well, he's had a bit of a big night, hasn't he? Haven't seen him this morning. My mistake.
Totally flaunting safety regulations. Look, you can buddy up with me for the day, mate. You stick with me. I know it's not your fault. It's fucking middle managers. Look, you stick with me. I'll keep an eye on you. We'll keep you safe. But we're gonna head over. There's fucking tourists coming in. I thought we were gonna unload. I've already got all these workers working overtime.
Bloody tourists. Bloody mainlanders, eh?
Mainlanders. Yeah, they do look like they're from Oshi, hey? Fucking.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Hey.
Yeah. Nice. Question from chat. All the Dragonborn from Newcastle? Nope, just this one. I've got other accents. Nice. Just this man. He's from Newcastle. Yeah, well, come with me, mate. What's your name?
Yeah, it's Nox.
Nox. Nice. Are you by any chance a black Dragonborn? I forgot to ask. What color do you want to be?
Let's go with the blue dragon born.
Ooh.
Yeah. It is a real mix of chromatic and metallic dragonborn, so yeah, that's absolutely fine. No, you a blue dragonborn dressed in very similar. So because it's quite warm in the desert, a lot of the clothes are very loose, draped cloths that sort of wrap around, almost a little bit reminiscent of a toga in some ways, a very utilitarian cloth toga, often over one shoulder for the men, two shoulders for the women, but cut quite short with a back section that loops around the tail and then comes down into a flowing dress. Very, simple but brightly coloured. All of them are very brightly coloured to complement the colours of the scales. And you had something quite similar in your disguised kit that you were able to throw on and look quite similar to them. This Dragonborn holds out his hand and goes, "Tendo, nice to meet you."
Did he say Tendo?
Tendo. Tendo.
T-E-N. Okay, so that's obviously his name. I give him a predator handshake.
What does that look like?
Knows what that actually
is that like the gripping the forearms and?
Yeah, like
Cool.
It's like really solid. Like,
yep.
I have no strength, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah, no. He grips your forearm. The disguise self is. Oh no, sorry, not disguise self. Sorry, your shape-shifting ability. Yeah, changeling ability. Your shapeshift means that you have firm scales. As he grips on and gives you a shake, he goes,
"Yep.
It's your first time working on a winery. You look a little bit dazed looking around."
Yeah, look, this isn't my normal type of work, but I've made a change. Trying something fresh.
Oh, look, you've picked a great man to work for. Bacchus is he's a bit of a character, a bit eccentric, but he's good. He knows what he's about. And if you catch him on a good day, you walk home with a case of wine, mate. He's a great boss to work for. Pretty chill.
That's perfect. What happens if you catch him on a bad day?
Normally he bitches and moans about someone in the city or politics or police or taxes or merchants, and then might offer you a tipple of whiskey. As I said, pretty good boss.
Nice.
I mean, he's not really doing it for the profit. Like, this whole gig, it's a bit of a joke, really. We're kind of just being paid to fund his hobby, right? Like, do you know much about him? Did you do any research before? Did you get picked up by the recruitment agency?
Not a lick. Recruitment agency. Chuck me straight in.
Nah, fair enough. Yeah, no, he's an old green dragon. Large, powerful, comes from a very wealthy family. Hey! We got Michael and Claire coming in. I'll just get your videos up and running. Perfect timing. We're doing the quick cut back in time for Jin's little adventure while you guys were hanging out with Bacchus.
Right. Cool.
How'd you go, guys? How was your evening? Claire's into hood. It went that well.
Oh.
It's cold.
Yes.
It is cold. It's cold, isn't it? It's
cold Queensland, I hear.
I'm wearing a hoodie for the first time in like forever. I'm wearing my Yoda hoodie.
Look at them. Look at Matt. T-shirt, Melbourne.
I mean, having said that, I am wearing a t-shirt. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
How cold is it in Melbourne? Pretty cold.
Single digits. Too cold.
It's 2 degrees.
2?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
too
that's-
cold.
11 degrees in Melbourne. My goodness. It is warm.
Yeah, Werribee is 9 degrees at the moment.
Ugh.
Oh, there you go.
I'm pretty sure Queensland's like 14, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up right now.
It's 13.
13. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna shut up. I've got nothing further to say about that. Yeah, Jin. The Dragonborn Tendo nods and goes, "Yeah, look, he's from a powerful family. He's not doing it for the money. Bacchus is just really, really passionate about the wine, and yeah, look, it's, as I said, it's a great gig. It's pretty chill. You can drink on the job, and it's actually encouraged. No, seriously, I'm not kidding. As long as you don't drop crates of wine and shit, just make sure you say you're just tasting the merchandise, and seriously, no one will care."
Oh, perfect. That sounds yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a
As
good
I'm
gig.
looking
Right.
around, and thought flashes through my head. Hey, maybe I could just stay here for like
Forever.
extended period of time.
This is my new life.
This is my life now.
This is
And
my
then
new
no one
life.
saw him again. All right, I'm gonna re-roll a new character.
Tendo is leading you through a series of very small micro vineyards, roughly sort of 10 meters by 10 meters. They all seem to be growing very different, strange varieties of grapes and fruits. You immediately begin to notice what looks like strange crossbreeds. And as you come up towards one of the further vineyards, these small micro vineyards, a female dragonborn, beautiful gold scales, dressed in these intricate, very finely adorned red robes with gold filigree across them, is waving her hands over the vineyards and muttering under her breath in a series of quite guttural, arcane words. And you watch as the vines begin to grow and twist and warp underneath her hands as this very bright gold light shines out from her hands, and it begins causing the vines underneath to grow and twist. And you watch as the grapes begin to grow in size too. Starting off normal grape size, a couple of centimeters, they begin to swell and pulse almost with a heartbeat as they grow first to the size of a mandarin and then a large apple, before the bunch of grapes pulls the vine down as they crash into the dirt, finishing up the size of grapefruit attached to the bunch. And you watch as this arcane magic user lowers her hands, does a small prayer, and then walks down towards the next patch. A group of workers dressed much more utilitarian, much more sort of worker-esque garb, a bit more muddy and dirty clothes, rush up behind and begin harvesting the grapes and placing them in barrels. Tendo sort of notices your interest, goes, "Yeah, look, I'll be honest. Sometimes there's a bit of cheating to get the stuff happening quicker. All of these new breweries, they're coming up with new tricks and ways to do things. We're just doing it for ways of testing things out, experimentation, right? Like if we can get more harvest, we can have a bit of a go with new things, try new flavors, and then grow them properly afterwards. It's not cheating to use magic for that stuff, right?"
No, not at all. Magic's Magic doesn't really discriminate.
No,
Why not just jump in and use it where we can?
it's just a tool. Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly.
Everyone can use it. You're just leveling the playing field the way I look at it.
Oh, can you use magic? I can't use magic. What are you doing here if you can use magic? You should have been...
I can't use magic either.
Oh, okay. When you said everyone, it was
just
more of
tried.
like an esoteric everyone, not a explicit
I'm talking
everyone.
about like more like the brewery.
Yeah, yeah, I get you. He gives you a pat on the back.
What's going on.
Yeah, I get you. Tendo continues to lead you down towards a series of warehouses, large squat buildings made of sandstone, actually built into the side of a cliff face. Just the entrance is visible, and you can see that the whole inside has been hollowed out, and it heads down a series of large steps deep into the earth. And immediately as you step into the shade, into this warehouse, the temperature drops noticeably, and suddenly it feels quite cool as you get out of the heat of the sun. Tendo just continues walking on and leads you down into a section of warehouses where there's a number of crates that need to be stacked up. You can see they've been arranged haphazardly. Some of them have been stamped with various guild signs and things like that, but for the most part, they're just plain crates full of empty bottles. Right, well, I think we'll start here. If you can just make sure the bottles, none of them are broken, seal up the crates. If there's any broken bottles, just let me know. We'll swap them out for new ones. Seal them up, sand off any guild insignias. We can't have that on our merchandise. They like to stamp them to let us know. You know how it is, coming in with imports and exports. Yeah, so just sand off any of those markers. We'll get the empty bottles packed up, sealed up, send them back to the winery, get them filled, and get them shipped out.
I sort of give him a thumbs up, and no problem, leave it with me, boss.
Easily done. I'll come check in on you about an hour or so, eh?
Perfect.
With that, Tendo gives you another, what do you call it? A predator handshake, the arm grasp.
Yes.
Gives you another arm grasp and heads up the stairs, and you are now alone in this section of the warehouse. You can see down the various aisles of shelving that's been carved into the stone. There are other Dragonborn working away on various tasks, but for the moment, you're sort of mostly left to your own devices by yourself.
Sweet. First things first, I want to see just quickly the icon, the guild's icons and stuff. Like, what actually do I recognize? Any?
Yeah,
of the
there's a few. The Ocean Trading Conglomerate, the OTC, their guild insignia is displayed most prominently. A number of these look like they've been shipped from Oceania. The glasswork looks to be fairly fresh. Looks like they've opened it up to inspect for broken bottles, and someone's gotten partway through the job. These are fresh bottles. They've not been used or filled yet. The OTC symbol is a stylized OTC in a bit of an arc with an airship flying through the center and creating the cross of the T, which is lowercase. Yeah. Other ones, that one you would recognize being from Oshia. You would recognize that. You would have seen them, the trading posts in Palin and Oxenfurt especially. Other symbols, there's one marked with Dwarvish runes and a hammer. Do you speak Dwarvish?
No, so I don't understand.
That one you wouldn't know. And then there's another one that is clearly marked with the symbol of the Maloran orcs, the seafaring orcs.
Nice.
A white gull over a storm cloud, which you would recognize as you would have seen when you docked in at Drifthaven.
I sort of look at it like tenderly and go, "Oh yes, heart of my own, like blood of my own heart."
And that one is not import. That one looks to be an export that's ready to go out. You can see that the wine bottles inside are full, but there's not any straw that's being packed around them, unlike the other crates. And there's a large container full of straw, large barrel full of straw over to the side. And you get the sense that, yeah, this was a job that someone sort of half completed and hasn't really finished off this portion of it. There's also a clipboard filled with reams and reams of paper. As you go over and look at it, are you proficient in arithmetic? No, I'm kidding. As you look, you can see lines and lines in this tiny, cramped handwriting. Numbers dance in front of your eyes across this page, this ledger, messily kept, almost indecipherable to a casual observer. And you can see that there's a coffee stain or a brown circular stain over one section. There's a tear mark on the corner. You can see there's what looks to be almost like a doodle in one side of the page where someone's drawn a cactus on part of the page. And you get the sense that this is not professionally kept. This is anyone who cares to add to the ledger does so. And yeah.
Cool. All right, so we've come to this city. Everyone else has went on to talk to Bacchus. And we've come here as a delegation, so I'm just trying to think of some stuff I can actually do.
So at the moment, you know that you're probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours carriage ride from Velixur, the city. So
Right.
the airship was deviated to this estate to try and sort of keep you guys from being spotted arriving, given that the Gold Dragon attacked after telling you that the airspace was closed, that no one was welcome in Ciarian airspace. Elia Ataliakanos made the call to divert here and leave the airship here with the crew as well. And you guys are going to go rendezvous and take a carriage into the city.
Yep, okay.
Did we touch about the library? The dragon?
What was that, Claire? I'm just going to turn your volume up a little bit.
The dragon in the library?
Oh, would he have been there for the... Yes, because that was Elia giving the...
Because we were like, would Jin want to go there, or would he want to go somewhere else?
Yes, and yes, Jin would have been there for that. So one of the things Elia briefed you guys about before you headed into... as you were on the airship heading towards this location, thank you for reminding me, Claire, is the presence of the Draconic Archives that's held by a private owner, a dragon who hoards this knowledge and guards it jealously. Okay. And apparently it links back to... It contains knowledge from before the ruin and all the way back to the time of the dragon's arrival, to the time of Giants. Wow. So this dragon claims to be that old.
Yeah, he's claiming to be one of the oldest dragons, if not the oldest dragon.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that would do it.
Fafnir.
Fafnir's hoard is sometimes what it's referred to.
Fafnir. Is that what
Fafnir.
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 Yeah.
I'm sorry to any Norwegian, Danish, or Swedish people out there for how we're horribly Yeah, go check out Faffers. He's a fucking legend. When we're talking to him, he's Fafnir. When he's over there, he's Faffar. Sorry. Sorry. My bad. Yeah.
Okay.
So you know that's in the city. That is in Velixur. That archive.
Okay, cool. That'd be very interesting to see later on, but definitely not a solo act. What I'm going to do is, though...
Should we also mention that we're trying to find the one of the Dragon Mask Dragon Mask?
Yes, you are aware. You are aware that one of the Dragon Masks is likely in Velixur.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think we've known that from a couple of previous sessions. I think that was discussed. So yeah.
Yeah, but I think the plan at the moment is to try and discredit that person, whoever that might be, because we want to try and win people over to our side rather than them.
Yeah. We want to see the masks control the dragons.
Yeah. So that's what you were talking about last session, was potentially revealing that the cult are using, because the cult, obviously their whole way of getting dragons on board is saying dragons should rule, dragons should be in charge. But then there's a bit of a contradiction and hypocrisy here where they have masks that can be used to command and control dragons. I mean, if you could reveal that would potentially be quite damaging to their message, to their marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a few things to play off. So we're off in our own little estate. We're not actually in the main city of Velixur.
No. So this estate you're currently at is about an hour and a half, 2 hours carriage ride away from Velixur.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to do the task I was given. Naturally. Why would I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to go around.
I'd like to stack boxes and crates for 2 hours, please, and then I'll rejoin the party.
I'm going to do two things.
Okay. Two.
I'm going to look for very expensive wine to pocket.
Okay.
And put in the bag of holding, because we need to pay off the airship somehow.
Yep.
And I'm going to talk to general dock workers, just get a feel, like a lay of the land.
Yeah.
Any rumors that might be happening on the estate, any rumors that will be happening in Velixur, asking around, not asking people, hey, have you seen a guy with a mask, like a dragon mask, but like just going, oh, have you heard any strange rumors allayed of any strange happenings? And like, try and be pretty, like, what's the word?
Subtle.
Subtle, yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
In that case, then, I need 2 rolls from you. One is a stealth check, and the other is a persuasion check. Stealth check to try and steal.
Okay.
Persuasion to try and get the dockworkers to talk to you.
I'm going to do a bardic inspiration myself.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it for both because that would not make sense.
Okay.
I'll just do one. I'm going to do the stealth roll.
Yep.
That's a nat 1.
Oh boy. Okay.
But it goes to 12.
12. And then can you
that
do your
could be worse.
persuasion? Do your persuasion as well.
That's way better.
29. That's a bit better. Let's do the stealth first. You spend probably a minute or 2 on this task before sort of looking around and going, yeah, there's probably some loot here that I can find some expensive wines. And you begin to do a little bit of a search. You have a bit of a look down some of the aisles, but there's a lot of people around, and you very quickly begin to realize that there's not really many places you can go to look through things without looking a little bit suspicious. And in fact, as you begin to sort of try and open up one of the crates to see what's in it, the wood cracks a little bit underneath, and you feel a hand suddenly come down on your shoulder, and as you turn, you see a black dragonborn standing behind you. Well, what are you doing here?
I've been asked to open these crates and replace these bottles.
Is that so? I was just
yes.
packing these for disbursement. I
Wait,
think you
hold
have
on.
the wrong section.
First day, I'm so sorry. This is completely... I'm over... Yeah, no, my bad. I apologize.
Not a problem. I caught you before you caused any damage. Not a problem at all. Where are you supposed to be?
perfect
I will
timing.
show you where to go.
I'll just go back with him, and then I'll just start walking around, and I'll just start doing my reconnaissance.
As he takes you back.
Persuasion.
I mean, if you want to try and persuade this guy to chat to you and try and chat him up, persuasion 29, like this might be a good in to get this guy to chat to you.
As I walk with him, because I'm like I'm just playing like naive.
Yeah.
But I'll be like, yeah, look, my bad. I'm so sorry. There's just
Not
been
a problem.
My
My
head has
first
just
day, I
been-
walked into the ladies' bathroom. It's okay. We make mistakes.
Yeah. I just sort of look at him like, yeah, okay, that's the mistake you made, unknowingly. But I'm like, my mind's just been so muddled, and there's just been so many rumors flying around. I've just been so addled. It's just been crazy, hasn't it? And I look at him.
It's best to leave politics behind and not think about it. It's one of the good things about the Wyrm's Respite estate. It's quite close to the city, but far away from the politics. Bacchus won't have us wasting our time thinking about politics here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. But just past the politics, there's so many other rumors flying around. I'm new here, so I haven't really been sheltered like you guys. But there's just so much stuff going on in the city. I don't know if you heard anything, but it's really interesting.
No, tell me, what have you heard? It sounds like there's been some news. I haven't had leave to go back to the city for about 3 weeks, so the last I heard
Well,
was a bit out
I
of
heard
date.
there's been, and I look around over my shoulder, there's been strange folk abroad. I've heard some things, but I myself am not privy to it. If you know anybody, I would be very interested in that. I myself am looking at making a bit of a foray into journalism.
He gives you a bit of a look and goes, but your aptitude pathway would have led you here. Are you trying to get that reevaluated?
Damn straight I am.
I hear that is a complicated process. Good luck to you. Do you have a sponsor?
Okay.
Who is sponsoring you for this?
Hold on. So they have what is it?
Evaluation pathway.
Can I have that?
Yep. This is what happens when you come in and try and bluff stuff.
No, I'm currently in the process of trying to get a sponsor.
What? Good luck. I have not heard of many Dragonborn being able to find a sponsor amongst the dragons to allow them to change their valuation pathway, their aptitude pathways. I wish you luck. It could be worth trying Bacchus if anyone would be interested in spitting in the face of tradition. It would be him.
Ah, perfect. Well,
just don't tell him you're looking at doing journalism. He has a bit of a thing about journalism.
Okay. Hates journalism.
He called one who came to interview him about his family's estate what was it? A cesspit filled with nothing but bile and hate, I think is how he described a journalist.
Oh, nice. Isn't like writing this down on.
He can be fiery. Yeah, Jin just like pulls out a little notepad and begins writing. I see you are taking this very seriously, already trying to practice on the job. I'm
like nodding my head vigorously.
I wish I could witness this, but I am not of the right caste. I cannot be witness for your work experience here.
Yes, well, thank you so much.
No problem.
This is my station.
How he looks at all these open boxes and then looks back at the area you're going. He's like
I'm asking a question. Like, is this my station? Like,
I am. Do you have a requisition, Chit? Who brought you here? Who did you speak to?
Tender.
Okay. Yes, probably. I know Tender was hoping to have these sections cleaned up. Yes. Carry on.
Perfect. I wave as he goes.
Gives you a nod and then a bit of a look and then walks back towards his area. Just wanders off.
Yeah, so I'm going to just continue walking and trying to find any other information out from anyone else using the persuasion myself.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not going so crash hot, so I'm going to leave that alone.
As you go around and sort of do a little bit of your work, a little bit of schmoozing, a little bit of networking. Yeah, I mean, you do, in the interests of keeping the story moving, and not role-playing every single interaction, you do get a bit of a mixed bag. Most of the people here, you suspect, share some of Bacchus's opinions on politics and on life, I would say, in general. There's a real sense of laissez-faire, chill out, like just be really like calm, chill, not getting overly into things, just enjoying life. There's a real sense of like almost a sense of joie de vivre, enjoying life, and you think that that's a culture not only does he foster, but also it's a culture that runs throughout his entire workforce. There's a couple, though, of the younger ones who you suspect are new and haven't quite fully picked up on the culture yet, and so they are much more willing to talk to you. In fact, one of them has only just come from the city, similar to the character you're pretending to be, has only just come from the city 2 days ago, and is abuzz with news. As you pull this young green dragonborn aside, and sort of ask some questions and show a bit of interest, and yeah, I mean, you look like an older dragonborn. He kind of doesn't really know where you fit, so he wants to impress you, thinking you might be one of the managers, not really knowing. He's at that stage where like he's new enough that he just wants everyone to like him. And you come across as someone like willing to listen and quite likable as well. He begins telling you a little bit about what's been happening. Yeah, so oh man, it was crazy. There were like all these like masks, like dragonborn, like wearing these like intricate masks, right, like around their head and horns. And they did this whole like march through the city. Oh my god! And they had like these dragons with them too, and like they marched up towards the council, and they had this massive banner, and they flew it up. Two of the dragons flew it up and hung it from the council chambers, and it was like a proclamation against the actions of the council and saying that all true dragons should follow Tiamat. Oh, it was insane.
Oh no. That's not good.
Uh-oh.
I mean, and it's like, if you'd asked me 6 months ago, what do I think of Tiamat? I would have told you, evil betrayer god, right? But I don't know, there's a lot of stuff going around. It's hard to say anymore. Like, that book that came out like only a couple of months back. I mean, it's pretty damning stuff, right? Like, yeah, dragons have been crushed. Oh, it was like this, it was supposed to be like an account or like a diary or something from like Tiamat. I haven't read it. Look, full disclosure, I've just had someone like tell me the best bits. But it's apparently like an account of like Tiamat's life, right? Like before and leading up to the ruin. And it kind of sounds like she got framed, right? Like she was a bit of a scapegoat.
Oh. Oh, wow, that's very interesting indeed. How does that sort of sway public opinion?
I mean,
people jumped on that.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, say that out loud.
I was just imagining what would go in Tiamat's diary, and I was just like, in the Roll20 chat, I was just like, dear diary, Hadar was such a bitch today.
That's exactly the voice. That's the voice.
Just very mean girlsy. Yeah.
We've been sharing a plane for some time, and I've told him not to eat everything I've been working through. And I come back, and the fucking dark hunger's consumed everything. That was mine. I put it aside for later.
Bitch.
That's it. What a bitch. Yeah, that's exactly right.
You can't sit in this plane with us.
Yeah. You can't be in this plane and play with us anymore, Hadar. Jin, in answer to your question, yeah, I mean, like, it's hard to say, right? Like, look, Dragonborns don't get a vote. The council's all dragons, right? So Dragonborn, we're not have as much to say. We're not as well represented as we should be, right? And I don't know, like some of these people who are calling themselves the Children of Tiamat, they raise some good points.
So, where did this retinue of dragon mask wearing people go? Are they
I don't know. I assume they just took the masks off and went back to normal life, right? Like it looked like it was all Dragonborn and dragons. So I'm assuming they're citizens of Ciari. I assume they've got some sort of meeting place. I was invited to one of those meetings actually, but I didn't get to go. I had to come out here.
Oh, okay. Have you seen any humans or anything like that?
Oh, nah. Humans aren't allowed to stay in the city. I mean, they come in during the day and stuff like that, but they're not allowed to stay overnight. So, look, there might have been some mixed up with the group, but nah, man, it's by the dragons for the dragons, you know, right?
I sort of nod and listen like, well, thank you for your time. You will do well here. What was your name again?
Oh, sorry, I didn't say. Sorry, that was really rude of me. I'm Kogos.
Kogos.
Yeah, friends call me Hoss for
Lovely
short.
to meet you. It's Hoss. Well, you do well here, I'm sure. I'll remember you.
Yeah, Hoss the boss.
Easy done. Thanks for that, kid. Alright, now run along. Get into your duties.
Big Hoss, nice. He like assuming now even more strongly that you are some sort of manager or someone with like promotional powers, very eager to please. Big nod, big thumbs up, runs off to go carry some more crates up onto a loading bay ready to be lifted up by crane.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change how I look a little bit. So I'm I'll just change my color so like Tendo doesn't like recognize who I am.
Nice.
And I changed a little bit of my features, and I'm going to try and find my way back to the party. I don't want to dwell too long on
pretty
this.
easy. Yeah, no. As soon as you leave the warehouse is built into the side of this rock formation, you can see the manor from anywhere in the grounds. It's quite flat because this is all built on plain lands. The area around is quite flat. It's almost like a little plateau with some craggy terrain on the sides and around, but this area here is decently flat. You just have a leisurely stroll back towards the manor house. As you do, you can see the party walking out the front door towards a large carriage. You can see Mira looking around, like making eye contact with some of the Dragonborn, and then they're not really making much eye contact back, and so she kind of like looks at the next one. I'm assuming looking for Jin and not knowing.
Ah.
But you can see.
Try to be subtle. Just be like.
As I'm seeing them approach, I'm going to quickly turn around, make myself look like Langrajosa.
Okay.
I'm going to turn around. I'm going to sort of, as I walk towards the party, I'm going to spread out my arms like, Mira!
Yes! I just jump out of my skin.
Jared, as you do that, one of the Dragonborn guards immediately, like, lowers his spear and goes, Langdadrosa, you're not welcome here. Get off these estates. You're a wanted criminal.
I sort of
There's a bounty on your head.
I was kidding. It is not me. Look, and
It's an illusion.
my scales are a different color. I guess as I show my arm, I'm going to make it look like a different color, just as I'm like lifting up my sleeve.
I'm not falling for these tricks. Get out of here now.
I sort of just like nod and I start walking away. Until I'm out of sight and I change into a different Dragonborn. And then I come back to the party.
You guys watched as Langdadrosa, this blue Dragonborn, sheepishly walks off around a corner, and then suddenly a green Dragonborn's on his way back wearing exactly the same clothes.
Everything
that
drops
would
to
win
Mira.
exactly
It's like,
the same
I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Emerging from the steps behind you guys in the manor house, you see the large green draconic form of Bacchus. This is your first time seeing him, Jin. Bacchus is 8 feet tall, massive dragonborn form with huge green draconic wings spread behind him, horns curved back, and this elegant, beautiful white toga with purple vine and leaf motifs all across it. And as he walks out of the house, you can see he's holding what looks to be a very large wine bottle, but very tapered at the top, coming to a very, very fine point. And as he steps down the large steps, he goes, you forgot to take a drink with you. Come. Here, Otalekanos. And he hands over this bottle to Otalekanos, who's in her silver dragonborn form. Not giant half dragon form, just silver dragonborn form. She bows very gracefully and accepts and goes, thank you very much. We'll savor this tonight. Do we need to let it breathe, or...? Let it breathe! You need to let all wines breathe, Otalekanos. Any red wine needs to breathe. 10 minutes, you know this. Yes, of course. Thank you, Bacchus. He sort of notices you for the first time, Jin. Who are you?
Hi there. I'm new here. I've just come to this state.
Look, I'm not going to talk to you about taxes. If you have come from the tax department, I have already paid. Kindly fuck off.
Are the party leaving as they're like?
They're sort of standing outside the carriage. It looks like we're about to board the carriage.
Well, yes. I guess I'll just jump on this carriage then and be on my way, and won't bother you with taxes.
I will not have your money-grubbing fingers ruining my carriage. You can walk.
Is that? I just look at Mira and I'm like, should we say something?
I'm not even here for taxes, but okay.
Elia,
We should say something.
what was that?
Well, maybe not. Maybe we should just.
See how this plays out.
Elia sort of looks at you, Mira.
Of the group.
Elia looks at you, Mira, as if like, should I say something?
Yeah. We're kind of all glancing at each other, I imagine.
Mira shakes her head. For podcast listeners, Mira shook her head. Elia does not speak up. Elia just sort of like looks a bit confused.
Lawful good. I would.
Are you still lawful good? We need to do something about that.
Oh no.
I'm kidding.
Oh, dear.
I've been trying.
There's an imperceptible like shake of the head from Mira that then sort of like turns into a bit of like and then finally a nod. And Elia goes, no, Bacchus, this is one of our companions. This is Illyrian.
Yes.
He's a shape changer. Shape changer. Does that mean your taste buds change too? Do you have different flavors as different forms? I'm not sure we've got time for this discussion. Hush! Hush! Otaliakanos, I need to know the answer to this question. I have not met a shape changer before. Do your taste buds change?
Does that actually happen, Owen?
This is the first time Jin's kind of thought about it.
I've never thought about that either.
now that Jin's reflecting back, yeah, when you change forms, you notice that the Dragonborn form seems to be much more suited to tasting a lot more of the flavors of meats, a lot more of the much more earthy blood flavors, I would say. The very more carnivorous flavors. Same for tabaxi as well. Umami, thank you. A lot better at tasting umami. Elves, much more of the sweetness. They get a much more intense sweet flavor, much more delicate flavors from fruits, much more complex flavors. But yeah, 100%. Like you now that you're thinking about this, you're like, oh shit, absolutely. Like each race has slightly different taste bud arrangements. Absolutely.
As I was sitting there and I look at him like, well, depending on the race, my taste buds do change. Yes.
No.
Dragonborn have a bit more of a different palate for more meats and earthier sort of tastes, and an elf would be more refined.
What if you were to change partway through drinking something?
That could definitely change sort of the taste of the wine or the taste of any drink or food, I imagine. That's actually a very interesting thing you bring up.
He's like, sort of pauses. He's very thoughtful. You can see he's like scratching this large talon on his chin, on his large chin spike. If only there were a way I could have the flavors change while you were enjoying them, so that the flavor changed in and of itself. I will speak of this to my court magician. I will come up with a plan for this.
Okay. Well, I'm always interested to see new developments pop up like this. This could be quite groundbreaking, actually.
This is good. You have taste buds for hire and business snake. Your party is well established and balanced. As Bacchus looks down at Shana.
This definitely has some. This definitely has some business opportunities here.
Yes, your business snake has discussed sponsorship deal and corporate branding. We have our plan organized.
I sort of look at Shana. I'm just sort of like puzzled. I've never heard the term business snake.
Nope, none of you have.
Yes. Well, we do make a famed duo.
We're going to have a spin-off series now. Business snake and the taste buds.
With my abilities and her know-how,
with her business acumen.
We'll keep in touch. Definitely.
You have to. I have your airship hostage. It's back at your airship. And your crew.
Yeah, we're going back here.
Perfect. Can I get on the carriage, or do I have to walk still?
You may board carriage.
Thanks.
You see a big cheeky smile across his face.
All right.
Otaliakanos gives a nod. Yes, bit of a rush. Let's on the carriage, off we go. She opens up the door and gestures you all inside. You can see the carriage on the outside is, again, beautiful white wood that has been sanded back and painted with gold leaf to form these beautiful vine-like patterns up the sides and across the roof. And then the center of the carriage, the logo, is this coiled serpent with large wings and wicked claws, gently curling around what looks to be a large wine vine, and then the name underneath, the Wyrm's Respite estate, in this beautiful gold leaf filigree as well. The carriage is huge. It is meant to house. It is meant to house Bacchus in his full 8-foot form, as well as guests. As you step inside, you can see that it is easily a 9-foot high ceiling to the carriage. Wow. As you step in and then sit down, the chairs are huge. They're meant for dragons to sit on in draconic forms. In the center, there is, somewhat not surprisingly, a large cool box slowly steaming in the hot summer air, and inside is large amounts of ice and bottles. And as you all sort of crowd in and get in, Otalia kind of sort of nuzzles up and sort of like moves towards Mira. Mira, your elbow knocks back and bumps into a section of the wall, and you watch as a section of the carriage seat behind you drops down, revealing an armrest with wine glasses locked in place that sort of tinkle lightly as it drops down. And Bacchus looks in and goes, "Ah, you found the wine glasses already. Fantastic. You are ready for a good trip."
Thank you again, Bacchus. We have much to discuss when we return.
That we do. Enjoy your time and try not to get eaten alive by the creatures that call themselves politicians in Velixur. I'm not kidding.
We can deal with them.
Hopefully.
You have Elia with you. Atalia Kanos is from a long line of famed politicians and bureaucrats. She will keep you somewhat safe. I'll do my very best, of course. Obviously, yes. She has lost some of her fire, though. Last time you were here, you destroyed people. You tore them apart, piece by piece. I'm trying to save that for when we most need it. It's a last resort, Bacchus. Last resort, lots of fun. What was that? Sorry, Yervith?
I'm like, wait. Do you mean like physically or like through your politics?
Oh, it got there eventually.
Oh. Okay.
Look, dragon politics sometimes can be very physical.
It's true.
I thought, okay, I'm learning more and more each day.
Good luck. And he gives you guys a bit of a wave as he closes the door and hits the carriage on the back. Lockie, you hear the unmistakable sounds of clockwork kicking into motion as the carriage lurches forwards. And as you look out the front, there's no horses. There's a driver. But the cart is moving under its own power. It is not being dragged or moved by itself. And you can hear this tick, 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 tick from inside underneath you as clockwork seems to be activated.
Right, he'll sit there for a second and just make sure that they're far away from Bacchus, and then he's going to start pulling his seat apart. Just enough that he can peek in to see the machinations and the gears and things.
Luckily for you, the seat cushions lift up. They are not attached or sewn into the seats. They are positioned on top. You lift up the seat cushion, and then you can see that underneath there is a bench that has a liftable compartment underneath to store things. As you open up and look inside, you can see, parts of the clockwork ticking through behind a wall of what looks to be maybe glass, this clear, transparent, more translucent, I should say, translucent material that forms the back of this little container. And inside this container, you can see there's some blankets and more cushions that have been stored inside for maybe nighttime when it gets a bit colder.
Okay. He'll take his mace off his shoulder and turn the light on and peek down, and he's going to have a look at all the gears and things and how they're working. Oh, this is fascinating. Wonderful.
Yervith and Shana, who were sitting next to Lockie, are now lifted up slightly as Lockie has lifted up this seat to look underneath, and you guys are sort of uncomfortably pressed up against the back of the chair as your legs are pushed up into your chest as Lockie's there going "Oh, and if you haven't looked down in here, this is fascinating." And Yervith's just
Yervith, this is brilliant. Oh, man. He's connected to all. It's running by itself. Yes.
Lockie.
Yes.
A bit uncomfortable here.
I apologize, my friend.
Would you like me to move out of the way? And,
no matter. I think I've figured out most of it. Put it back down. And then sit down and be like, that's really interesting. I wonder what he's using as a power source.
Do you want to make an intelligence check, Lockie? See if you can figure it out from what you examined.
Sure.
I wonder if I could attach rockets.
Absolutely.
6.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
He's just there musing to himself.
I mean, it's not impossible that a tiny gnome is trapped inside a treadmill and is running around in circles. It's not impossible.
Cruelty.
It is also possible, Lockie, as you think a bit further, it is also possible that springs may be involved.
Oh, that would make sense, actually, because you can store energy in them, draw them out.
Who are you talking to?
We need to wind up. Oh.
As you say that, Lockie, your mind's still thinking about the gnome, and for a second you think, oh shit, it's the gnome. That's the intelligence of 6.
I mean, I don't think I know how the carriage works, but it gave me an idea for something. Because if you're storing energy in springs...
If Professor Griswold isn't too busy, perhaps we could put him inside a barrel and have him run in circles.
Absolutely. I also hear otters are good for that kind of thing, too.
You can always ask Bacchus when we get back.
Yeah.
When you get Bacchus. Elia, sorry. Elia, looking over you guys, goes, yes, look, I'm very sorry about Bacchus. Look, I know he means well, but he can be a bit much sometimes.
Are you kidding me? I tasted green. It was amazing.
There's nothing to be sorry about. I am dead serious.
What was that, sorry, Yervith?
Oh, I was just wondering. I was just asking, Lockie, what he tasted again? That was quite a spectacle, actually. Didn't think Warforged or robot men like yourself could taste. Quite impressive.
Neither did I, but he co-opted my other inputs, and I just crossed it over. It's amazing. An amazing, I don't even want to call it magic, but just amazing practice. Something that I hadn't actually thought of before.
Yeah, Larian, you missed the whole thing.
I can taste colors now.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
You can hold on a second. I just shape change in front of everyone back into Illyrian form instead of this like green dragonborn.
Yeah. You watch that now very familiar flash of white as the changeling form comes across and then gives way back into Illyrian's form.
What was that? Sorry. You can what?
Oh, Bacchus, he did something. And it was only temporary, it's not anymore, but he did something, and I got this compacted disc shape, and for a little while I could taste colors. I was having a jolly great time with my mates, because it glows green, you see. Oh. And I was trying to do my hands, because they're blue, but it had worn off by then. But I did have a very interesting idea of how to use hypnotic pattern.
See, that also happened to me in college.
Absolutely.
There are these mushrooms that I found growing in the university grounds.
I mean,
except I could taste
inside
sound.
the green, I saw the reason for living. I'm just going to say it.
Oh.
I can't quite explain it now.
Yeah, it's like an ayahuasca trip. Is that what it is? Ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. Thank you.
But no,
I've only ever seen it written. I've never heard it said out loud.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But yes, I understand the impermanence of death. It's brilliant.
Wow.
That's a profound thing to get from that experience.
I did forget what it was, but I know it's definitely within reach. I'm going to try again.
It's chasing that dragon.
I thought of it, but I was like, nah, I can't say it because I might have hit my quota for bad jokes tonight. But that was a good joke, it turns out. And I should have said it.
That's right.
Oh my god.
Feeling all your jokes today?
No, you deserve it. That was a good one. Elliot sort of laughs a bit at that. That's very good. Yes, that's good. It's a good icebreaker one that we could use when we're talking to, if we're telling this story. We get to, because Lockie does tend to just sort of speak sometimes and just say things. So if he does bring up that story, that could be a good icebreaker to turn it into an advantage. Yes.
Can I do an insight check on Ilya?
Yeah, of course you can.
She
Yeah.
does sound.
What's wrong? What does she sound like?
She sounds like a 6.
She sounds like a 6.
Damn.
Yeah. Elliot sounds fine. Doesn't sound nervous. Doesn't sound nervous. Doesn't sound concerned. Doesn't sound frustrated. Doesn't sound angry.
You were still trying to work out why it was so funny that chasing the dragon. She's like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, but you're not sure.
Yeah.
Yervith is just gonna kind of look at Elia a bit. Kind of, his passive insight's pretty high, so he'd probably just be like kind of cluing into something not being quite right.
Every moment this cart is taking you closer to Velixur, she's growing more and more tense. The beautiful silver of her scales begins to pale noticeably as you get closer.
In the cart, I'm just gonna tell everyone what I had heard from that Dragonborn.
Yep.
I'm not really gonna roleplay it too much because there's a lot of info there.
Yeah, we were all
But basically, just saying about like the Dragonborn wearing these dragon masks, hung a massive banner, council from the council, blah blah. Tiamat this, Tiamat that, and the book as well of Tiamat getting framed.
That is worrying. It may be to our benefit at some stage to try, I guess, a counter-promotional campaign. If we can do it subtly, not trace back to us, of course, but...
No.
That would be well, yes.
That could take some time, though, and I don't know if time is really on our side at the moment.
No.
It sounds like if they are really the masks, they may have directly taken over the council. They said that the council members are dragons. They could all be being controlled.
Oh, that would be terrifying.
That would make...
At least know that the cult probably have some foothold in the city.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think it rather unlikely to expect that all the council members have been compromised, but some of them, yes. I think it's possible that at least one or two has become influenced by the cult or directly controlled by the cult. But you have to keep in mind these dragons, the 5 dragons of the council, are very old. They would be hard to compel, even with the power of the dragon masks. Directly, you would have to be very specific. My understanding of how the masks work is you can give a dragon specific instructions and it must follow those specific instructions. But when it gets to more vague instructions like don't tell anybody, there are ways around that. They could write out things, for example, or communicate telepathically, or you have to be quite careful. So I think it unlikely that too many dragons could be controlled in such a manner simultaneously and so completely.
Here's a question. With the masks, do we know if a single mask can control more than one dragon?
We don't know. That's a good question, Lockie.
In any case... Oh, sorry, Mira.
There you go.
I was just saying, in any case, Elia, you should be careful on the streets. I can tell that you are a little tense. Perhaps if you can stay indoors until you're absolutely needed, it might be best. You're a recognizable face. I guess so are we, but this is what we do.
Well, there is something I could do about that. And you watch as her form shifts, adopting a much more human guise as her draconic form fades into a human form. The scales receding, turning into this very pale white skin. Beautiful silver hair, silver draconic eyes still, but much more human-like guise. And as she sort of looks around and stretches, she goes, "Would this be more appropriate? It's unlikely to think I am a member of the Draconic Council or a member of importance. We very rarely disguise ourselves in humanoid forms. I think this would be much more safe."
Definitely.
I think that'll be better.
Should we go in there like as we are now? Or should we actually try and be more stealthy about this?
One of the benefits of Bacchus's cart, and why I agreed to let him lend it to us, you'll notice something odd about the windows if you look closely. They're quite dark. No one can see in. We can see out, but people cannot see in. They are reflective from the outside. We can enter the city unobserved, reach my family's estates inside the city, my family's manor, and hopefully get you all inside without anybody seeing. We should be able to get behind the gates and the walls and close up quite quickly.
In any case, though, I do agree with Valerian. I think a stealthy approach while we're in the city is probably recommended.
And then we can show ourselves later.
Yes, we'll need to be careful.
Opportune moment.
Indeed. We'll need to be careful after dark. None of you apart from Mira are permitted to be in the city after dark. We're going to be breaking some rules. Only Dragonborn and dragons are allowed to be in Velixur to stay inside the city, to live in it.
We're going to need some friends to stay with, at least hide us.
Yes,
Well-
we have my family and their resources that we can draw upon. And I have some aides and trusted political advisors as well that we can utilize. And other members of the political sciences group, similar to you, Mira, who are working under my tutorship as a ward. They can be trusted as well.
Also,
Have you spoken to them recently?
Not for a few weeks, but they were working on other projects. I trust my people. I handpicked them, as Mira would know. I have quite a strict policy for taking on wards, and I trust them.
Also, in a place full of bureaucracy such as this, there must be properties or things that have sort of slipped beneath the radar or through the gaps or such. Perhaps you can find an abandoned place, set up shop there.
Yes, that is possible. There are not very many abandoned buildings in Velixur. If anything, it's the opposite. There, when I last left, there was a bit of a problem with homelessness.
Oh.
One of the problems with Velixur is that, obviously, only dragons and dragonborn can reside within the city. Even as it has grown, it hasn't grown quickly enough to keep up with the population. The new districts aren't being built quickly enough, and the problem with the Council of Five is they think slowly. They're very old. They think on a much longer time frame, but that has not helped when things have changed so quickly. We've recovered a lot very quickly after the ruin and discovered new things. This technomancy, artificering, that's only fairly recent that it's grown so quickly. Innovation comes faster than we can keep up, and I fear the Council of Five have been left a bit behind. They're not able to imagine the future as wild and as crazy as it has turned out to be.
And the Dragonborn are not well represented as such. I think that's one of the reasons that the cultists managed to dig in there.
Indeed, and a number of the young dragons feel very similarly. You have to remember that it's not a meritocracy. It's an ageocracy. If you are older, you are more powerful, and if you are more powerful, you are wiser. This is the fallacy at the heart of draconic politics. It's not a perfect system, and I think we're now seeing it for its flaws.
Another interesting point you mentioned, Jin, is that young dragon, speaking of young Dragonborn, has a meeting in the city. Perhaps we could infiltrate that. You know, be a double
There'll be
agent.
a few of them being done, but yes, very, very, very good eyes there. That could be a very good place to have a look at.
Perhaps you could take his place. Did you get a good look at it?
I did. I start sketching him.
You got his
So I
name.
can, like, his name was like Kogos. Kogos. That's it.
Big
Kogos. Os
The
for short.
host boss.
What's that?
Does this mean you would need to make the original disappear so you would not be interrupted?
No.
That's
I didn't mean kill him. I just meant just tie him up in the basement somewhere.
Lucky! I would not have expected that from you. That's my job.
He comes out with his dark.
We'll need to skin him and wear him as a suit.
oh my god.
And I will use the bones as some sort of musical instrument.
Why, yes, I am a Dragonborn.
Hello, fellow Dragonborn. What do you feel about the weather? It is hot.
No, it's not, because we can't feel cold.
Yeah. Hello, fellow kids. Exactly. Is that Steve Buscemi? Yeah. Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Hello, fellow kids.
Wow.
Elliot sort of looks at Lockie a bit like, I have severely miscalculated your willingness to...
I don't want to hurt the poor lad. Just don't put a gag around his mouth. Put him to sleep magically or something. He doesn't have to be killing him.
He's back at Bacchus's. He's not
Put him
going
to
anywhere.
sleep.
I'm concerned. I thought I knew
Lockie-
you better, Lockie.
Lockie, when you said you had this realization about death, I'm really concerned that it is that you want to spread it.
No, it just means nothing.
Now,
Oh God.
Okay.
I'm joking. Goodness gracious. Can't you people rate facial expressions? Wait, I don't have facial expressions.
Okay.
moving on. Should we all take on the personas that I sort of manufactured on the airship, just for stealth purposes?
Easy.
So if everyone wants to, they can be Frankie the Sneak, Robin Hood, Clunk,
Robin Hood.
Aram,
Frank the business snick.
Dragonborn Fighter from the Desert.
Yeah. That's me.
I'm from the desert with a lizard no name.
I'm also going to. So if everyone wants to, we can go into these second personas for now, just so like we don't immediately get seen in the. We maybe don't have to do it right now if we're going to.
No one can see
quarters.
into the cart from outside. Through the
I think
windows.
this is more when we're just like walking through the city later on if we want to.
Yeah,
do that.
when you get into the city, yeah, absolutely. For the moment, though, you don't need to activate those
No, not
disguises.
gonna do
So
it now.
I'll tell you now as a DM, you're very safe.
Yeah.
The cart ride continues on, unless there's anything else you wanted to ask Elia or of each other, if there's anything else you wanted to discuss before you guys arrive. If you're otherwise happy, we'll do a little bit of time skip.
Hey,
Happy?
just before we go,
Yes.
Shana wants to ask Illyrian, say you do need to suddenly change forms. I was thinking, would it be some way that you could have some sort of subtle symbol somewhere on your person that we can know that it is you, and we're not making eyes at random dragonborn around the city again?
How about
Even just a little hand badge or something.
How about I always put a scar, a little scar on the left side of my face,
Subtle.
and like 2 scratches.
Sounds
Good
good.
idea.
That's
Just so that we
at
know
least
to keep an eye out.
something you can pick out quickly.
I like it. That's a really good call.
So like that doesn't really doesn't seem like it's manufactured or anything. It doesn't like seem like it's very unique or anything like that. It's just 2 scratches.
Bacchus was right, Shana. You are savvy and wise.
I try. It doesn't usually
This
work
is
out in my
great.
favor, but I try.
Well,
And with that,
carry on.
sorry, I was just going to add one more thing, is that Shana's going to start practicing using her silent image Eldritch Invocation to give herself legs.
It's very easy to do. It's illusionary legs. Your tail is invisible, hidden behind the illusion, and then it forms legs. Do you want to just silent image that you look like a dragonborn?
I can do that?
Well,
Because
yeah.
yes, I do.
How big's the
Yeah.
silent image? How big's silent
That'd be
image?
better.
I didn't think it's that big. It's
As long as it's
oh, never mind. 15-foot cube.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Shana can just make herself look like a because you can cast silent image at will, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you can just always look like a dragonborn now.
Sweet.
Yeah, you could literally
Pretty
just
cool.
like
It doesn't even use
Yeah.
a spell slot.
No.
Plus, the tail from the Dragonborn would kind of match your actual
Could just-
tail. So
yeah.
it'd be a bit more-
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
good
so.
call,
I
Yervith.
don't want someone to
Yeah,
step
then
on
no
it.
one will step on it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really, really good call, Matt. Absolutely good call.
Also,
Yeah.
I think it would have been pretty funny though if like people were just tripping over her like tail all the time.
Okay.
but
What
the
not
fuck happened
realising.
there? Ah, sorry, I kicked your legs out from underneath you. Why'd you do that then? I don't know. I'm just a bit kooky. Elia looks over the lot of you and goes, right, okay, we can do this. We're gonna be okay.
It's fine.
We faced odds before, insurmountable odds. All we have to do is figure out which of the councillors, if any, have been contacted or corrupted by the cult. We need to impress upon them the urgency of this matter without revealing ourselves too closely. And then we also need to try and find out where the cult are, ideally infiltrate them. this is sounding like a lot for us to do as a group. I think we're going to need to split up a bit.
Split the party.
It doesn't have to be the party. I can absolutely talk to the council. Ideally, it would be good if Yervith could be there. And potentially Mira.
Oh no.
That sounds fine by me. As long as I get to go to the archives with Lockie, we did talk about that.
I think we'll try and all find a time to go to the archives. It sounds like all of you are interested in accessing the archives, yes? Yes.
Indeed.
I think we'll all try and find time to access Fafnir's archives. Oh, sorry, Shana, yes.
Oh, what else could work is if Yervith, Lockie, and Mira go with yourselves to the council with between our more disguising disguises. Perhaps Illyrian and I can do some more subtle investigation if we can.
Not to question your morality there, Shana,
But the soldiers of Varus.
I really want to leave the two of you guys alone. Don't get me wrong, I like you as a person, but the last time you and Jin collaborated on a project, it was not with our knowledge.
Actually,
Yes,
Lockie, you could accompany them. I've just realised, and I'm very sorry, it's because I forget the backwards way that Ciarians can sometimes think, but Warforged is seen as property. As items more than people. I know, I'm sorry to be so blunt,
Oh my.
but there won't be any questions if you're in the city after dark.
Well, then, Lockie, you can be our chaperone.
You know what? I like this idea a lot.
And you can keep an eye on those two. Make sure they don't get up to any mischief.
Or that it's at least Lockie-approved mischief.
Indeed.
Yes,
Mischief,
within reason,
no.
of course.
You just
I
have
don't
to
do any
act
mischief
dumb.
at all. What do you mean?
I have to do what?
Never at all.
Just act dumb, like you're a property, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh no.
Going to go well.
This is going to be interesting.
I still think that's a great idea, Shana. I do. Yes.
I do too, actually.
And then I look at Lockie and I'm like,
Oh, come on, it was one time. I have a better plan now.
one time.
You're obviously more than welcome to come with us, Lockie. I just thought that information might be relevant to you.
Oh, it is absolutely relevant. I've taken into consideration, and I think it is an excellent idea. I can shelve my ego for a little while.
The reason I should clarify is because most of the constructs that you see in the city aren't true Warforged. They're clockwork automatons? Wow, I struggled with that word for a second then. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. Clockwork automatons. And you don't look like the normal Warforged. I think you could pass as a clockwork automaton.
I see. When you say automaton, you mean mindless machine, right?
Yes,
Or
almost like a golem. They have instructions written on them, and they follow those instructions. There's it's almost like a symbol dial at the back of their heads that you can rotate to program in instructions, simple tasks, and they will undertake those tasks until they are deactivated or moved on to a new task.
Okay.
Maybe
What
like
kind of
this
tasks do they
carriage
usually
then.
Yeah. What kind of tasks do they usually get put to work for?
Well, it depends. Heavy lifting, construction, sewerage, the jobs that Dragonborn don't want to do
Fair enough.
or can't
they-
physically do.
Can they speak?
No, often not. But I do know that some of the fancier ones, that some of the upper class, some of the merchants, some of those of the higher caste, will have ones with them that can act as translators, that can act as intermediaries, secretaries. They're, some of them are quite sophisticated. And they can talk and respond and answer questions and record information and dialogue.
It's just to get you through the streets.
Of course. No. If I'm going to do it, I would want to do it correct, and not give myself away. That is fair enough.
Well,
So I'm going to need to act like I have no agency and I cannot speak.
We might need to hide your core as well. I know it's not very obvious with your armor on, but without your armor, your central core? What do you call that?
I didn't actually have a word for it, but I've been toying with the idea of an electronic matrix.
Electronic matrix.
Sorry, an elemental matrix.
Elemental matrix. Yes, you'll need to potentially find a way to disguise that or hide it underneath your armor. That's not something that Dragonborn have access to for creating their automatons. We use clockwork. They're wound up and powered by magic, not elemental magic, arcane magic, runes and symbols.
That's right. So you say my armor covers it?
Mostly, we might need to potentially maybe stuff some cloth in and around, or maybe we'll find something, Lockie. We could do something.
Sure.
Throw a cape over it, yeah.
I'll be dashing in a cape.
A cape would do, yes. It will be hard to disguise yourself as a basic model if you're resplendent.
Pillowcase.
Just be a house elf. Master has given Lockie a sock. I will fold it and place it in a drawer. Two capes front and back. Yep, that's it. The carriage ride for the rest of the way is somewhat boring, to be honest. Looking out, there's not a huge amount to see. The landscape is open plainland. Before too long, you start to come to the outside of the first wall. You know that the city is a tiered system of walls, a little bit similar to Minas Tirith in Lord of the Rings, but much flatter, not as vertical. Or Ba Sing Se from Avatar. Shout out to Avatar Legends tomorrow night. But the outer wall, on the outside of the wall, you can see all sorts of shared accommodation, inns, taverns, hotels that are housing lots and lots of humans, dwarves, elves, tabaxi, all the other races that are not allowed to stay inside the city overnight. All of whom are on their way out of the city as it now sort of heads toward the afternoon. You can see they're sort of heading back to these accommodations. Lots and lots of inns and taverns, all of them talking about cheap prices, vacancies, transport in and out of the city for a low fee before nightfall. And yeah, it's very much a sense of chaos outside the city. And then as you enter through the first set of gates, the carriage is waved through with no questions and is given priority and precedence over other groups heading in. You're actually diverted away from the main entrance and towards a side section of the main gate, this massive 20-meter high gate built into the side of this wall, which is easily 40 meters high. This sort of side area of the gate that is clearly reserved for prominent business dragons and other members of high society. And the carriage passes through. As you enter into the outer district of the city, you can see many sandstone and stone houses, all constructed in this very low Spanish villa-esque style. Curved archways, very few doors, mostly material hung over the entranceways and windows that can be pulled aside or placed in different positions. All of them sort of 1 to 2 story, not built up, built outwards. Wooden fences marking out the yards and the perimeters. But the first thing that changes is the scenery. As you enter in, the landscape goes from this dusty red crag to greenery. Grass is growing, gardens built around it. It's beautiful. And as you continue through, the opulence increases exponentially with each new district. The guards dress in finer and finer armor, moving from utilitarian to resplendent parade armor almost as you head into the upper district. The clothing of the people changes too. The Dragonborn go from wearing very simple merchant clothing to beautiful, intricate silks, intricate furs, draped togas in all colors and all different patterns. very quickly to quite large amounts of adornment, jewelry hanging from horns, pierced ears, pierced noses. A lot of chains linking horns together or linking from horns to noses seems to be the current fashion, quite popular amongst a number of the Dragonborn. And every so often, moving through the city, becoming more and more common as you head towards the upper district, are the dragons. Some of them in humanoid form, again, 7-8 feet tall, standing out quite clearly, and all given a wide berth. The crowds of people moved apart to let them move through, almost like moving through a sea of people, parting the crowds as they move through with no words, no gestures, people just moving to give them way. And then others in dragon form, stalking through the streets on all four legs, over the roofs and buildings, and you see now why nothing is built more than 2 stories. As dragons take flight and their wings swoop down in a sudden rush, kicking up dust and debris, and if any buildings were taller, would have been knocked flat by the action of the wings. As you enter into the upper district, passing through the 3rd set of gates and walls, the cart immediately takes a left-hand turn, moving away from the main road, which leads up towards a massive palace, open with landing platforms arranged all around it, looking almost like some sort of vast airship docking system, but no docks. Open platforms for dragons to come and go, flying from the inside of the building to the outside. The cart takes a left-hand turn, away from the main streets, heading down these narrow side streets before arriving at a section of what looks to be almost a small woodland grove, fenced off with large, high stone fencings. A gate covered in ironwork and filigree, which Mira would recognize having been to the estate before, Taliokanos' manor before, is opened by a pair of draconic attendants, Dragonborn attendants, who bow very respectfully and deeply as they open the gates and allow the cart passage as it heads on through. Up a long, narrow driveway before emerging in front of a fairly modest but beautiful-looking manor house. 3 stories, an oddity here in the city, with a platform on the top clearly designed for a dragon to land and take off, and a series of open steps and balconies all the way around, leading down towards a ground floor. Again, open archways, no doors, just fabric hanging from windows and doorways. As the cart pulls up to a stop, a white dragonborn begins to walk towards the carriage, dressed in a black suit, immaculate black suit, draped very kimono-esque around the body, rolls of fabric sort of draped around, black with these white highlights to match their white scales, bows very deeply in front of the carriage, and then stands up, one white gloved hand in front of the chest, one behind. Elia looks over and goes, "Oh dear, right, okay, I've been away for a bit. I think they're going to put on a bit of a show. Okay, let's get this over and done with." She goes to open the door, and the Dragonborn, this white Dragonborn, leans forward and quickly pulls the door open before she can. She sort of looks out, slowly steps down. There's a bit of a double take as she's currently in this human form, and then this Dragonborn shakes their head, looks down and goes, "Mistress, you have returned. Welcome back." "Yes, thank you, Frimruth. Yes, thank you. I'm back. And you have guests. We shall prepare the quarters immediately." Yes, thank you, Frimruth. Thank you." The clearly Dragonborn butler immediately turns and begins heading up the steps, clicking their fingers at Dragonborn who are standing aside, attendants, maids, and other staff who begin rushing around, gathering supplies and moving inside the house. Elia sort of looks back and goes, "My mother was a bit intense, and she liked the staff and the help to have a very particular way of doing things. I have, in my mother's words, let standards slip somewhat. I'm much more casual, as Mira knows, but they're going to be a bit much to begin with. I've been away for a while. I'm sure they've fallen back into old habits. We're going to have to try and get them to loosen up a bit, okay, while we're here."
I can certainly try my best.
"Okay.
Never been anywhere so fancy before."
"Oh, no. Thank you. No, this is,
I be an automaton now or later?"
You should be fine on the grounds of the estate, Lockie. these people are loyal to me and my family. The members of this family have served my family for generations. They are to be trusted.
Okay.
Tell me, how did you get the trees to grow in such a arid place? I'm very impressed with this.
There's a massive reservoir of water deep under the city, a large basin that we access. There are a number of wells and pumping devices throughout the city to help keep the water flowing.
Impressive.
Apparently there was once a vast lake here before the ruin, before this land was changed. We lost a lot of our city, but we've been able to rebuild. But yes, a large freshwater lake was sunk the size of an ocean, and it seems to go down very deep. We've not exhausted the water supply yet, and I would not say we've managed it wisely.
Were these trees brought here from somewhere else in Oshia?
Yervith, good eye. These trees look very bizarre. They're not trees you recognize. These aren't oak or birch. These look strange. The leaves are very sharp, almost like pine needle-esque. The bark hard, almost like iron, and with a grey tinge to it. They say these are from our homeland, from our home plane.
Ah, fascinating. I've never seen a tree like this before. Doesn't seem to match anything that I know about.
No,
trees of Osia.
No, it's said they come from where we come from, where the dragons come from. As you know, no one apart from the giants is native to Nostea, and my ancestors apparently brought some of their fauna and flora with them.
The trees survived the ruin, or did you have seeds stored somewhere?
Seeds. There is a large bank of seeds and material should we ever need to rebuild again.
Good idea.
Indeed. It seems we have faced cataclysmic events before. I mean, it's not really well known why we left our home and came here, but I can only assume, if you look at the way our culture is arranged and the way our politics work, we've faced some dark times in our past, faced some existential threats. To have such a total control, such a strong caste system implies that we had need of it. Need of live or die thinking, as it were.
I can get around that idea.
And it's been hard to break. Draconic minds move slowly. And progress comes far later than it should. Come, I think while we're on the estate, you watch as she shifts and changes back into the white half-dragon form. While we're on the estate, I think I'm safe enough to be my normal self. And you watch as she's shaping back into this, silver, not white, this silver dragonborn form. You watch as she stretches and her body continues growing until she takes on, very similar to Bacchus and the other dragons you've seen in the city, this 8-foot tall silver draconic form, her wings pushing out from behind her back, tail lengthening, face becoming much more draconic as she takes on a much more normal draconic form. Yes, this will be what people expect while I am here.
It's quite an expectation to uphold.
Indeed. Indeed it is. There's a polite cough from behind her. The rooms are ready, mistress. Yes. Well, I think it's best if I let Freemruth show you around and show you to your quarters, and we will meet for supper. I have some business I'll need to attend to. Please feel free to explore the estate and grounds at your leisure. If you need to leave, just make sure you let the attendants at the front gate know whatever disguise you're going to be taking on. Just make sure they're aware of it before you leave so that they'll be able to let you back in. Freemruth, if they want to leave, they absolutely can. These are my guests, and they will be staying the night. Freemruth, this white dragonborn, gives a bit of a startle. Yes, I know. I'm breaking the rules again. Take it up with my mother. Freemruth sort of gives a bit of a polite cough. If I could still do such a thing, your mistress, I would not. I assume we are to keep them out of sight during the evenings? Yes, that would be good. And no guests, obviously, apart from these ones. No surprise guests, please, either. We can't have anyone wandering in and catching sight of me breaking the rules again. Yes, mistress. Come, I will show you to your rooms. Follow me. And Frimworth, this white Dragonborn butler, begins sort of moving away quite stiffly, but gestures for you guys to follow. Oh, sorry, there is one thing she would do. Mira. Oh no, you've coloured your scales. She does not recognise you. Sorry, you have on the airship. Didn't you colour your scales a little bit?
No.
Why did I think you'd done that? Never mind. In that case,
No, I think I said I would colour her scales if we went with a different persona,
Yeah.
okay.
but we never actually did that.
I guess then
Yes.
my question is, Mira, do you look like you, or have you coloured your scales?
No, I think we said no disguises yet, so no.
No disguises yet.
That's
Okay.
Especially if Lilia went back to her normal form, I'd be like, oh, great, safe.
Frimworth nods at you, Mira. Mira, it's good to see you again. I see you're working for Our Ladyship once more.
Well, yes, I'm a freelancer, but yes, there are bigger things at play now. than
Good to
physical.
hear. Our Ladyship always said that you were her brightest student. Otelio Carnos, Elia gives a little... Frimworth, in confidence? Frimworth gives a bit of a smile, a knowing look at you, Mira, and goes, her brightest. Yes. Thank you, Frimworth. That will be all. Please show them to their rooms. Of course, mistress. She gives a very deep bow, hand behind the back. Come. And leads you guys out of this large opulent room out the front. She takes you up the stairs in this main landing area, up a series of stone steps up towards the top floor. The middle floor. And leads you down a corridor along a balcony. All the rooms are arranged, rather than having the corridors inside, they're all balconies outside. The weather here is warm enough during the day that there's no need to have the area sealed in. And during the night, you can see cloths pulled up that can be dropped down to seal off the balconies and keep the warmth in over the night. She leads you around towards a wing of the middle floor. 8 rooms, all arranged as guest quarters. 5 of them have been made up. With sheets on the beds, doonas, blankets, and you can see that there has been fruit, nuts, and some dried meat has been put out in each room with a large pitcher of water, and a tub has been filled in each of the rooms as well with steaming hot water from a large tap that leads into the wall. It is very clear that this place has plumbing. Can Elia take a Dragonborn form that's a different colour? Good question, Ali. No, she cannot. But that's behind the scenes. You don't know. Mira would know that. Mira knows that she's locked into her dragon colour. But yeah, you can see that the rooms are all made up and there are steaming hot baths. The thing that comes as a bit of a surprise is in each room there is a Dragonborn attendant awaiting you as you enter in. And as you are shown to each of your rooms, each of these Dragonborn attendants bows very deeply and then offers to take your clothes off and get you into the tub. My question is, which of you are accepting help? Which of you are happy to do this by yourselves? Shana's a no. Yeah. Shana just pushes the Dragonborn out of the room. No, thank you.
I'm good, thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, Yervith is probably a no as well. He'd be like, I appreciate your help, but I've got this.
I am 100% a yes. I'm
figured.
like just lavishing. Like I'll take their attendance if they're going to use them.
Absolutely. Yep. Lockie.
I would, but I don't require a bath. I don't sweat.
The hot bath that's been drawn up for you, the attendant sort of looks at the warm water and then looks at you and goes, would it not be pleasant to sit in the heat?
Yes, but I don't think I'll rust. I don't know. Maybe. If it was oil, that would be a different matter.
He nods, pulls the plug out, drains the tub, and then leaves the room.
Oh, wonderful.
Time skip. Lockie, 15 minutes later, he returns with a pitcher of warm oil and will oil you if you if you allow it.
Get into the bath, because this oil bath is going to feel so good.
He doesn't quite have enough oil to fill the bath. It's a small pitcher, and he has a sponge, and he will oil sponge bath you with warm oil if you allow it.
Okay.
That's going to live rent-free in my mind forever now.
He's the one who refused a bath and said, I need oil. That's what they're going to do. They're going to do what they're told.
Yeah.
And Mira?
Yes, but because, there are several reasons. One, because she knows what's coming. 2, she's too polite to say no. And 3, she wants to kind of do the hairdresser thing where, you're getting your hair done and you just let the hairdresser talk at you. She wants to encourage that as much as possible just to see what the vibe is going on.
Absolutely. So we'll jump to both Jin and Mira.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. Jin. It is a male dragonborn who takes your clothes off, hangs them up very gently, folds what needs to be folded. Some of the clothes your cloak, for example, your traveling cloak that's a bit dusty, he takes it outside and and brushes the dust off while you get into the tub and get yourself acquainted with the water. It is beautifully warm, almost too hot as you put your toes in, but then as you quickly acclimatize, it is so nice. Even though the day itself is quite warm, to have a warm bath, to wash the road off you, it's been quite a while since you've had a really good warm soak. The water is also slightly perfumed as well, this strong, almost like an ochre scent to it, this almost like a citrus ochre smell, this earthy smell, but this citrus note to it as well, and almost like a bit of a spiced scent at the end, like almost like a clove scent. And as the attendant comes back, he puts in some perfume on your clothes to make them smell nice, tucks them up in the corner, and then comes back with a scrubbing brush and some soap, and he will scrub you and he will fully bathe you. Yep.
No,
Jin's just there yeah, get under there, under the arms, yep.
He loves to be pampered.
Yep. You are pampered. At first, the scrubbing's almost a little bit rough, as if he's trained to scrub scales. But he's sort of very attentive to your needs, notices you wincing a little bit, reduces the friction, reduces the intensity, and gently scrubs you. You are then washed. As you finish the bath, you are wiped down with a perfumed oil to smell nice.
Cool.
Almost like an aftershave that is mixed into your neck, into your hair as well, and down your back as well to make you smell nice. Throughout the time, he does not talk once. If you try and engage him in conversation, he's very polite, but he does not really engage too much.
I think this would be one of those times where Jin's just
enjoying the moment.
Just enjoying the moment, throws himself into it, and just plays around with some of the the water and stuff like that.
And in your Illyrian form, you do look quite androgynous as well. It's a fairly androgynous elven form. Not as androgynous as your changeling form, which is pure, is completely genderless. But yeah, it's almost an androgynous form. Hello.
Hold on, guys.
OG, we'll jump to Mira. Someone's in trouble. He's gone. Oh, they cut the internet. Gone. They've cut his feed. No, we'll jump to Mira. Mira, you vaguely recognize this attendant, and she definitely recognizes you as you step in. This copper dragonborn smiles and goes, "Mira, hi, it's good to see you again. How have you been? It's been so long."
I've been doing the adventuring life. It's been pretty exciting.
Actually, sorry, I'm going to change her voice. Mira, it's been so long. How have you been? There we go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm retconning her voice. She's got a husky Scottish.
Oh.
Doing the adventuring life. I know you said you were so excited to leave politics behind. What are you doing back? Has Elliot drawn you back into her plots and plans?
Maybe a little bit, but anyway, enough about me. How are you? How's the family?
Family are great. Just had a little baby boy born into the family. My cousins just had a little... Yeah, I know, it's very exciting. They haven't picked a name yet, though, for the naming day. That's coming up in about 2 months, his naming day. So he'll be, 6 months old in about 2 months or so. So they'll need to have a name ready by then. I don't know what they're thinking of. They've been trying, had some suggestions, but not much luck yet. Any suggestions for them? I could pass it on.
Oh, I don't know. There's so many. Mira's not the most creative person. She's like, as long as it's not Corona. That's true story. Yeah.
Surely someone did not name their child Corona.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Hiya. Oh, white people.
Mira will just kind of prattle on about, this name, or how is vague acquaintance. Just chat.
Yeah. Do you want to make me a persuasion check, please?
Ooh.
Just to see how much she feels like she can trust you. Fafnir. Yeah. Call the child Fafnir. Fafnir's pretty cool.
That.
Yeah, pretty
Faffy.
cool, man. Been around for a while, you know?
No, not working. Oh, there we go.
21.
Ooh.
Mira. She's feeling a little bit comfortable with you. Before too long. I think I know why you're here. I figured it out.
Oh.
You're here about the Children of Tiamat. Oh, you don't have to say anything? I know you're probably not allowed to. You don't have to say anything. I know you're here.
Well, I can't say anything to just anybody, but to just like give a sly wink.
Sorry, you would know her name. Her name is Hisenio.
Hiseni?
Hisenio. I'll type it into chat.
Okay.
Eagle.
Senio.
Hisenio. Hissy for short.
Hissy. Oh.
Hissy. Hissy for short. Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. Like, Atalia Kanos has had some of her network, like, looking into it. I overheard them the other day. They were talking about how some of the students were talking about how they were invited by some of their classmates to attend one of the meetings. It seems like they're trying to recruit students, bright minds.
Well, what do you think about it all? I mean, we've been out of here for too long, it sounds like.
Yeah. Look, I had a bit of a flick through the book. Tiamat's memoirs. And I have to say, some parts of the story that we've been told didn't quite add up. And this fills those gaps nicely. I'm not saying that Tiamat is to be worshipped or looked up to, but it does look like she kind of copped a bit of blame that may not have been fully deserved. But the problem is that people are using that to take things to the extreme. I'm not a fan of extremism in any form. And this worries me. Some of the talk ruling over all the lands. That might work on some of the younger folk, but I just care about my family. I just want to have a good life. My family has served Artalio Canos' family for generations. It's a good life. We like this. This is how we want to be. And my daughter's almost ready to take over my place too. She'll be ready to start learning the trade, and I'll have her apprentice to me for 5 years, and then I'll retire and then pass on to her, and I'll live in comfort for the next 20 years of my life. It's a good trade. Work hard for 15 and chill out for 10. It's not bad. But that's not what some of the younger folk think. They look at things and they think that they should be in charge, that they should be on top. And Children of Tiamat appeal to them. What they're saying, that message resonates.
Yeah, there are definitely gaps in the story, some of which I have seen myself in my travels. There's always two sides. But the concern is that this is
two.
mind control.
There's always many sides. As many sides as there are people telling the story, right?
As long as those minds can make their own decisions for themselves, I think that some of this is being mind controlled.
Mind controlled? What?
Yes. The cult have many powers, including...
Cults? What's this cult? What?
Oh.
She's only referred to them as the Children of Tiamat.
Yeah. You haven't heard of the cult of the Dragon Queen?
The cult of the Dragon Queen? They're those nutjobs who want to raise Dracoliches. Those awful people who try and bring dragons back from the dead to serve them as undead dragons. No? What have they got to do with this?
Well, I'm afraid that they are actually the Children of Tiamat. They're behind it.
What? Mira, I don't think you were supposed to tell me this. I can't keep that secret.
That's okay.
Oh, blast.
Oh, damn.
Oh, no.
Well done.
Oh.
It's just a theory. But
Oh. Wow, that's That's a lot.
But you're right, that's what we have to investigate. But no pressure. It's just a theory.
Pressure like a drip, drip, drip that'll never stop. Tell me a secret, I'll tell everyone else. Okay. Yep.
But what else is happening in the city? Like I said, we've been out for a long time. It seems very more repressive, if that's possible.
Well,
We've got representation yet from the Dragonborns.
oh well. Yeah, look, there was Children of Tiamat did a march through the city only
We heard about that.
a couple of weeks ago. Hung up a giant banner across the town hall that basically proclaims what they want and who they are. And I mean, I know not to believe everything that's written down, and it's not necessarily true, but Mira, I mean, everything they say they're fighting for sounds good. Democratic representation of the Dragonborns, a member of each of the Dragonborn factions to match the council, not a council of 5, but a council of 10. I don't know. That sounds good to me, right? Like, that sounds okay.
That sounds pretty good when there are no alternatives.
A
Definitely.
fixed term for councillors. They don't serve forever, for life. They only serve for 100 years.
That's pretty short for dragons.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds okay.
And there's no alternatives. No one's offering anything else.
Well, I mean, yeah, there are. I mean, there's there's always been the
Are the green dragons making any progress?
the green dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're fighting a lot of backlash from the press, though. There's a lot of propaganda out there. I mean, there's this one old crusty dragon who's had his claws in the information across the city for too many generations. I mean, you'd swear he was a Dracolich to look at him. Just this. Yeah. Murdraken. It's just Murdraken. Yes. Controls too much of the media and too much of the information. It's just this crusty old piece of shit. I'm not even gonna. It's no longer the character talking. It's now just me. Everyone thinks it.
Well, it sounds like we need more information. It sounds like there's a lot of misinformation. Maybe I should talk to my colleagues if there are any other political science students. I don't really want to go back there. Can I just have another massage, please?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Full on, like, yeah, like massive. Oh, you're so tense through here, Mira. She's like
Just
kneading it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, you have not been taking care of your horns, please. And she goes and pulls out a horn buffer kit and begins like polishing and buffing your horns, like sanding down some of the rough bits. Yep. And like polishes them so they come up in a bright shine.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. And it's lovely. Yeah. That is the pamper time as you guys finish off.
Rest?
Yes, you may all have a long rest.
Yay!
You can take it now. We can do a little bit of a time skip. You head downstairs. You have a lovely meal with Otalia Carnos. It is very much heavily spiced meats, very Turkish-inspired cuisine. If we were going to make a comparison to Just
quickly, I think probably after the bath,
yes,
you have a feeling a little bit more comfortable. He was weighing up whether or not to summon Eleanor, and he probably would.
Yes.
Being in a comfortable space and not having seen Eleanor for a while, he'd probably freely summon her.
Yeah.
And have her just hanging out, enjoying.
What color is Eleanor?
Ooh, I was leaning towards blue.
Blue? Yep. Easy.
Yep.
Shana is hunting around for the wine that Bacchus passed. So you're just going to go downstairs and start like trying to raid the cellar, essentially, is what you're telling me, Shana.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Are there any more of those cool bottles around?
There are not. As you head downstairs into the drawing room, you can see there's a liquor cabinet, full of various wines and alcohols. None of the crazy bottles. It looks like Elia stocks, at least here, more normal bottles. But again, you notice that the vast majority of them are from the Wyrm's Respite estate. It looks like she is quite loyal to Bacchus in that regard. And there are a couple of other bottles there, but they look to be a lot older, as if probably they've been there for a while. There's a patina of dust on any of the other brands, almost as if it wasn't her who bought them. Maybe they've been given as gifts or things like that, and she's not really enjoyed them. She's mostly stuck to the Wyrm's Respite. Sorry, for podcast listeners and for you guys, it's Wyrm spelt Wyrm, Wyrm's Respite, just so that you know. Just want to make sure. So you're not think he's like burying bodies and using them to fertilize the the grounds.
That's a future plot hook.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right.
The blood is the vine. Yes, sorry, Karen.
Oh wow.
But you will head down very Middle Eastern foods, spiced meats, rice dishes, flatbreads, things like that. Very Middle East inspired. A number of dips, very reminiscent of things like hummus and baba ganoush. Very Middle Eastern inspired food. Very nice. I know. I'm sorry. Me too. Yeah, and then like there's one that like comes around that you're offered, Yervith, shawarma that is
Why, this is delicious.
Schwadraga. Schwadraga. That is particularly nice. But it's very, very hearty food, very heavily spiced, different to what you've eaten in Oshia, very different from Ocean cuisine, but delicious. And Elia deliberately keeps the conversation away from politics, from what you're going to be dealing with, keeps it quite light, asking personal questions about each of you, getting to know you guys, telling you guys a little bit about her history as well. Just personal things like the fact that she has a brother and a sister, both of whom have left the city, and one of them now lives in an abandoned giant's castle, one of the flying castles, and is a scientist and has been doing research there on runic magic for a number of years. It probably perks Lockie's interest.
Yes, really. Where was this flying castle? Do you know? I mean, it's flying, so it's moving, but...
Yes, it moves around on the winds. I'm not sure where she last was. I haven't spoken to her in probably about 2 years.
Do they have a general patrol route they go on, or is it just...
It's not the forest.
I know, but she knows.
No, I believe the castle itself, the navigation and propulsion systems were damaged and were inoperable, but the levitation was active, so the castle was just moved by the winds.
Oh, I see. Well, okay. Might have to track them down and see if I can help them after their entrance.
Yes, I think she'd be very interested in that. But yeah, you will enjoy a lovely dinner. Is there anything specific that you would have wanted to know about her history that you would want to share? Yes, Shana.
So Shana would probably say, if it's not too personal a question or a sore subject, you mentioned that your mother used to reside in this palace. Is she still in the city?
Yes, and for those of you who are accompanying me tomorrow, you will meet her on the Council of Five.
Oh.
I am assuming you're not on major familial terms at the moment, given your apprehension?
Yervith and I have differing opinions on how politics should be done. I think politics is creating the most good for the most people. And the goal of a politician is to do whatever they can to help as many people as possible in their position and to negotiate, to find ways. A politician is a facilitator for other people to do their best work. That's how I see it. My mother sees a politician as a ruler, someone who knows best, someone who commands others, someone who tells them what they should be doing. and who is a bit out of touch, in my opinion.
I'm sorry, did you say her name was Yervith?
Yendrith. I can type it into chat.
Ah, sorry. Just sounded very similar to my name. I was interested in that.
There you go.
Please
You can
continue.
chat. Iendrith. Yendrith.
Given her political standing, where does she fall on our plight, shall I say?
I don't know. I sent a message, and what I got in return was a summons to account for my rogue actions.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Before you left, was she favourable one way or another?
Hard to say. She scoffed at the idea that there was any threat to the Draconic Nation. Any real threat, she laughed it off and told me that I was chasing ghosts and fairy tales.
So we're presented with proof of Tiamat's potential return.
There is nothing that does not work against my mother like telling her she's wrong and proving it. If you want to get her offside, that's the best way to do it. No, we're going to have to be more sneaky, more roundabout. Make her think that we're agreeing with her, but still sidelining around and getting her to do what we want. She's the sort of defensiveness that you can't break through. You have to sneak around. I'm hoping to catch her off guard with Yervith and Eleanor. I'm hoping we can use that as a bit of a side way around potential roadblocks, as it were.
I understand that your relationship with her is strained, but has it changed for the better or for the worst recently? Has it shifted?
Oh, it hasn't changed in about 500 years, I would say.
Okay.
Is your father around?
Unfortunately not. He passed on a number of years ago.
My condolences.
Thank you. I got along better with my father, I must say. I was very sad to lose him. I felt like I lost my parents when I lost my father. And my bossy, political mentor, mother, still stuck around. Not a parent, more of a boss. A manager.
Do you think perhaps her attitude changed around then, perhaps?
Oh no.
Or was it always been this way?
We've always been pretty strained ever since I decided to get into politics. She was encouraging me not to. I went against her wishes and tried to follow in her footsteps. I thought it would make her proud. I think if anything, it just opened the floodgates for her to come in and try and prevent me making what she sees as her mistakes. Or
is she afraid of you usurping her on the council?
Oh no, I think she'd quite like to see that. But not with my opinions. I think she'd like to see me usurp her with her opinions.
This is
Yes.
This is all rather confusing.
Yeah.
Sounds
You're
like
telling
parents.
me. Parents. I think that's a universal thing all biological life gets to enjoy. Lockie, you're somewhat lucky there. Unless you had strenuous relationships with your makers, manufacturers?
Not particularly. For most of the part, they were quite kind.
They were the giants, weren't they?
Yes, they were indeed. Although I did have some disagreements with the Flying City every now and then.
With the city as a whole, or the people
Yes.
running the city?
No, with the city as a whole. Sometimes you try and fix something, and she just wouldn't want to be fixed.
I think in this scenario, Lockie, what you're describing is you're the role of the parent.
Oh, no, not at all. I was more of a concerned close companion. But you know how they say, sometimes when it comes to close companions, you can't fix them. You can only, be there and try and repair the things that get broken.
Change your
And
socket
then,
board when it breaks. And
Yeah.
install new levers.
Exactly, but at the same time, I mean, if things don't want to work, if they don't want to downsize their gears because it would put too much strain on something, then you need to let them go about their way.
I'm sorry. The city tells you all this. Is this?
Not with words, but
What?
I don't think it's literal, Yervith. I think he means in a metaphorical sense, like when he tries to fix a problem, but it causes more problems. And...
yes.
I'm not really sure, though, Elliot. I wouldn't put it past Lockie. I don't really know much about Lockie, actually, and the idea of a somewhat sentient city isn't necessarily out of the ballpark.
Very fair.
Given where Lockie is from.
The giants were quite remarkable.
Yes, they were.
Indeed.
Well, never spoke to me in words, but, actions. Moving slower one day, moving faster another if you're taking good care of it.
They say sometimes actions can speak louder than words. Perhaps.
How intriguing.
And unless there's any other questions you wanted to ask, you enjoy a good meal, enjoy fine wine. The wine that Bacchus had presented to Elia, she brings out, and you will enjoy. It is a very rich Shiraz that pairs quite nicely with the spiced meats. Strong enough to withstand the spices and not be overpowered, but subtle enough to not take away from the flavors of the meal itself. With that, you're all able to enjoy a long rest, head to bed. The temperature drops quite rapidly. As soon as the sun sets, the temperature cools down very, very quickly, and the cloths that are all looped up are dropped, and you can see they are very, very thick, almost like carpet-like material that is dropped down to cover all the balconies and to seal everything. And it is then quite toasty inside, and the air it takes on this very humid, warm sort of feel to it as it traps in the warm air of the day. Your beds are very comfortable. The sheets, beautiful silk, soft, and very insulating as you like tuck yourselves in, and all of you benefit from a long rest. And that, I think, is a good place to wrap up for tonight before we get into too much new stuff the next day. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming and joining us. That is it for tonight, but we will be back again tomorrow night for Avatar Legends and next week for more Tyranny of Dragons. So until then, stay safe, stay well. If you've enjoyed what we do, chuck us a like, chuck us a subscribe or whatever equivalent is. Tell us a story from your campaign. We've also now got a TikTok, lostarchivescast, if you want to see some highlights and also just random shit that I feel like putting up. That's also lots of fun. But yeah.
Also, day for Forest is incoming.
Great, day for the Forest is coming. I said that we were having a little Forest playthrough, so that's coming soon. We did a little test run on Saturday, and it's very fun. Yes. I hadn't played since early access. I realized I haven't actually played since I haven't played the full version ever. I hadn't realized that. Yeah, yes. I know. I didn't realize that I'd never played the full version.
It's
so we will
because
definitely.
Sons of the Forest has been delayed, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
great. Okay.
We got some time.
Always happy for a game to be delayed if it needs to be delayed to be finished properly. Always happy for that. So.
Agreed.
Not even going to whinge. Yep. Take your time. Get it right. Cyberpunk 2022. So
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky, which I have to say now,
At least
fantastic fucking game.
Yeah,
They both came good.
Even Cyberpunk's coming back around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I've heard
It
that.
is. Absolutely
So
love
at
No Man's
least-
Sky.
No Man's Sky
At least they're
super
coming back.
redeemed itself. My goodness.
Cough,
What
Fallout
makes it
76. Yeah, that's one that's not redeemed itself. No redemption for Fallout 76.
There.
No.
No.
Well, don't even get me started on Fallout 76.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
I
even
bought it.
touch that.
I
Second.
bought it. I fell for
Me
it.
too. Me too.
All right, lovely people. Stay safe, stay well. We will see you all again next time. Until then, farewell. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Outro.